Alright, I'm back now. I apologize for the interruption like that. I just had a phone call, so that was the noise that you were hearing at the end of the first part of this video. That was my phone vibrating. So, yeah, I apologize for the interruption, but okay, I'm back now. Alright, so yeah, that finish with Brock Lesnar being speared right through the cage, I really like just. It makes me just think of like continuity issues and stuff in WWE. I mean, they don't like for like pay attention to their past like that. So yeah, that's something that I didn't like about it, but yeah, nonetheless, like Brock Lesnar ended up retaining the title. So yeah, I'm not really sure what is next for Roman Reigns. I mean, I think that because like I think the WWE I think at this point they should get that the people do not care about Roman Reigns. I mean, they've been trying to like push him up to a main event like for like the last 3 years, and it just has not worked. I mean, WWE just doesn't realize that. Well, they haven't realized that the people just do not like Roman Reigns, and they do not want to see him in this situation anymore where he's like always in the main event because yeah, the people are just not going to get behind this guy. So I think it's time for them to just finally do something different with Roman Reigns, possibly turn him heel and just like try to do something else with him since what they've been trying to do for the last 3 years has not worked. And I'm not sure what's next for Brock Lesnar. I mean, I do not know how much longer he's going to be the champion and what WWE is really planning to do with him next. So, yeah. Yeah, so but yeah, I'm not really sure what is next for Roman Reigns and where he's supposed to go from here. So yeah, there's that. And then we finally got the greatest Royal Rumble match, which was the 50-man Royal Rumble match. So yeah, Daniel Bryan was entrant number one in this match, and he lasted almost all the way to the entire end. Can't stand the dog next door. I mean, have you guys like heard that dog barking in some of my videos? This dog next door is just one of the most annoying dogs I've ever heard. It constantly barks and it never shuts the hell up. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Daniel Bryan was the first entry in this match, and he lasted all the way through almost the end. Like he was just this second to the last eliminated person in the match. So yeah, Daniel Bryan has definitely like had the longest time in a Royal Rumble match, and yeah, there's a reason why he's the longest now. It's because this was a 50-man match rather than like a 30-man match or even like the 40-man match like in 2011. But yeah, this match it was good overall, I guess, but yeah, I don't think it was really I really don't think it was enjoyable throughout the entire match. Like, I agree with what Lundrick said in his video. Like, he just felt that the 50 men was just like too much, and plus, it got boring in parts because, like, yeah, a lot of the entrants in this match were really just like a lot of irrelevant mid-carders, and it really wasn't full. There really weren't like that many like actual big stars in it, like a lot of other Royal Rumble matches are. Where well, in a lot of the other Royal Rumble matches, while there have been like quite the number of mid cards in the match that obviously know are not going to win, there's still like plenty of like big stars in the match for them to at least work around, and so the match can actually remain interesting, and you can actually be on like your keep be kept on your toes throughout the whole thing, so you can actually like get into the match and stuff, and that's really not what you got with this match. Like a lot of the guys in this match, like I said, there were just like a bunch of like mid carders in the match. Like you had a guys like a Sin Cara, Curtis Axel, Mike Kanellis, Victor, all three members of the New Day were in the match. You had people from like NXT in here. You had Tony Nese, Dash Wilder, and yeah, there was like Bo Dallas, Goldust, Connor, Elias, Luke Gallows. Yeah, you just had like a bunch of guys in the match, and they really were just like a bunch of like mid carders and people, the just guys that the people really didn't care about. So yeah, there really wasn't like enough to really make the match like interesting throughout the entire thing, especially with like just the match like just being loaded with almost all mid cards and stuff. So yeah, that was one of like the cons of this, but yeah, Daniel Bryan was like he lasted, like I said, throughout almost the entire match, and you can actually like see like on Daniel Bryan's chest. That's how pointing like it was like late in the match. Like Daniel Bryan's chest was like it was like so bruised and beat up and stuff. Just it made me like yeah, that will really just look like how bad Daniel Bryan was getting beat up in this match. Just Yeah, and as usual, like at one point there was a part where like Kofi Kingston was gonna be eliminated, but yeah, he did his usual Kofi Kingston strategies in Royal Rumbles and always found like a creative way to prevent himself from being eliminated. He like was holding on to Xavier Woods to prevent him from being eliminated, and they eventually like worked together to make their way to the turnbuckle to jump back into the ring and stuff. So yeah. And yeah, of course I gotta talk about the Titus O'Neil botch. Yeah, when it was Titus O'Neil's time to come into the match, like he was running down the ring, and when finally got to like the mats at ringside, he ended up like slipping over, and yeah, he ended up just like falling and sliding like completely under the ring. Yeah, and yeah, I don't think the WWE is ever gonna let us forget that, because yeah, they just posted like a video on their channel of like showing the slip from like a bunch of different angles and stuff, and yeah, after it happened, like they just kept replaying it over and over again, and they kept laughing at it. So yeah, they're probably never gonna let Titus O'Neil live this down. So yeah, Titus O'Neil's got something that's gonna embarrass him for the rest of his life. Yeah, and yeah, you did have a couple of like some special appearances in this match. Like you had a Hornswoggle in the match, and Rey Mysterio was an entry in the match, and the Great Khali was in the match. So yeah, you did have a few surprises in this Royal Rumble. Yeah, and then yeah, Shane McMahon was one of the late entries in the match and stuff, and yeah, and Shane McMahon, I think it was like to Kevin Owens. Yeah, Shane McMahon did his usual like corner to corner jump and double kick to the face. Yeah, Shane McMahon had that in the match. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, and also Chris Jericho was eventually like. Yeah, Chris Jericho was the 50th entrant in the match, and yeah, I haven't seen Chris Jericho for a while, and yeah, it showed that he was like growing out his hair some more, starting to grow out his hair again. So yeah, kind of like going back to his long locks and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, like Braun Strowman, of course, was also in the match, and yeah, you had people like Bobby Lashley. He was in the match. Yeah, Bobby Lashley just like returned the night after WrestleMania. So yeah, Bobby Lashley's now back, and yeah, and of course you also had a Kurt Angle in this match. Yeah, it just was like low. Yeah, there were just like 50 entrants all in the match, and yeah, there was like Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and yeah, just some surprise entrants in the match. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it was like awesome. Like late in the match, like Shane McMahon was like on the turnbuckle, like he was going for another corner to corner leap. Like Braun Strowman ended up just grabbing Shane and threw him like over his head with one arm down right through the announce table. So yeah, that was a wild spot right there. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, the last three entrants in the match were Daniel Bryan and Big Cass and Braun Strowman, and yeah, and yeah, at first it looked like Big Cass and Daniel Bryan were kind of like working together to try to eliminate Braun Strowman, but then eventually Daniel Bryan ended up getting eliminated. He did. So yeah, and then it was down to Big Cass and Braun Strowman, and then the yeah, eventually, yeah, Braun Strowman ended up eliminating Big Cass, and yeah, Braun Strowman ended up winning the Greatest Royal Rumble. So, yeah, yeah, based on what they've been doing with Braun Strowman for quite a while now, like basically for the last year, with what they've been doing with him, having him challenge for the title and stuff, and really just giving Braun Strowman a huge push like this. This was probably the right move to have Braun Strowman be the winner, despite what they did at WrestleMania with him. I mean, what they did at WrestleMania with him winning the Raw Tag Team titles with that Nicholas kid kind of just seemed like he was a real big step down for him. But yeah, it looks like they're getting back on track with him now, and yeah, they're probably just going to continue to build Braun Strowman up, and just yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Maybe Braun Strowman can really become a main eventer and maybe have a run with the title someday. Yeah, I really don't know how much longer they really are going to really give Braun Strowman this push, but yeah, it looks like this is probably going to lead to some more with him, and yeah, this is probably the right move. So yeah, overall, like the Greatest Royal Rumble match, it was a good match, but yeah, had quite the number of boring parts in this match. So yeah, but overall, still a good match. So yeah, so overall, the show, it's not really a terrible show, but I do feel like it was a pretty big disappointment, and yeah, I really don't think it really lived up to the hype that was set around it. But yeah, I guess like you can watch like the ladder match and the WWE title match, and yeah, they'll be great matches. And yeah, with the Greatest Royal Rumble, despite the fact that there are like quite the number of boring parts in the match, like it is still good as a whole. So yeah, I guess like it's just a decent show really, but it's not really anything that you really do have to see. So yeah, so that's just my take on it. All right, so yeah, those are my thoughts on the Greatest Royal Rumble show from Friday. So yeah. All right, so yeah, now that I'm done with that, like I told you guys before, now I'll tell you guys what my plans are this year for the month of May. Because yeah, as you know, every single year for the month of May, I always dedicate it to doing something special each and every year. I've done it for like this is like my 5th year of doing it. So yeah, this year's no exception. I'm gonna be doing it again. And so yeah, last year for the month of May, I reviewed like all of the Star Trek movies in existence. So yeah, probably like I dedicated it to one of really, I guess, a really popular film franchise. And this year I'm gonna be doing something similar. I'm gonna be taking a look at another extremely popular film franchise. So, and yeah, it really is like a franchise that people really do seem to really like. A lot of people really do seem to declare as one of the greatest film franchises of all time. Well, yeah, it's technically like two separate film series, but yeah, they really are looked at. Well, yeah, then they all really do like are like the same kind of like universe and stuff. But yeah, it's really like two separate film series, but people do look at it as really just one of the greatest film series of all time. And the series I'm talking about is Lord of the Rings. So, yeah, Lord of the Rings, or also The Hobbit. So, yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing this year for the month of May. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reviewing all of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. That's what I'm going to be doing because, yeah, I've taken a look, like, at a bunch of other very popular film franchises. Like I've done it with Star Wars, and I did, like I just said, with Star Trek, and I've gone over like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and yeah, I've gone over like Disney movies. I've and stuff like the really extremely popular Disney movies. I've gone over Pixar. Yeah, I've just done like a lot of series of reviews where I've gone over like extremely popular film franchises. Yeah, this is probably one of the most popular ones. So that's what I'm going to be doing. This year for the month of May, I'm going to be taking a look at I'm going to be reviewing the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. But it's not just going to be like the Peter Jackson movies. Like, I'm not just going to be taking a look at these movies. I'm also going to be taking a look at also the original animated Hobbit or Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah, a lot of you probably really don't know very much about these films, but yeah, these films did come out actually before, like back in like the 70s and 80s and stuff. So yeah, a lot of people probably really don't think of these films when they think of Lord of the Rings or Hobbit today, but yeah, these films actually did come out before like the Peter Jackson movies. So yeah, I'm going to be taking a look at those films also. So yeah, I'm going to be taking a look at I do mean like every single Lord of the Rings / Hobbit movies. But the way I'm going to be taking a look at like the Lord of the Rings movies and specifically, I'm going to be doing it kind of interestingly. Rather than like, because yeah, like I just said, these three movies came out like back in like the 70s and 80s and stuff, while the Peter Jackson movies, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, came out like between 2001 and 2003, and then the Hobbit trilogy came out between 2012 and 2014 and stuff. So yeah, what I'm going to be doing for the Lord of the Rings movies specifically, I'm going to be reviewing them kind of like an interesting order. Because if you've seen like a Nostalgia Critics old versus new of the Lord of the Rings movies, Uh, he has said like with the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings film here, he's like said that this film actually does go up to the point where the Two Towers actually ended. So yeah, and then yeah, there was also like the Rankin Bass Return of the King film. So the way I'm going to be reviewing the Lord of the Rings movies is once I review yeah, I should say like I'm going to be going over mostly take a look at these movies in the chronological order of when they actually were released. So yeah, I'm going to be taking a look at like the animated films, but yeah, it's going to be in a different way. Yeah, so yeah, once I do review yeah, because yeah, I'm sorry, I just have kind of a lot to explain because yeah, the order that the animations came out, it was the animated Hobbit, and then there was Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings film, and then the Rankin Bass Return of the King film. That's how it came out, and so yeah. So the way I'm going to be doing this is after I review the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings film, I'll then end up reviewing like the two Jackson movies. I'll review Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers, and I'll just kind of like the one I'm gonna be doing it. Just kind of like to take a look and just kind of like compare the way these stories are, the way both of the films tell the stories that they're telling. And yeah, I'll be doing it in kind of like a similar way Nostalgia Critic did it, but I'll give my own take on it. Yeah, and then once I do that, after I review like those, then I will take a look at the Rankin Bass Return of the King, and then I will then review the Jackson Return of the King, and then yeah, I'll give my take on that also, and then just like give a comparison of that. Like I've already watched like what Nostalgia Critic said at the end of his old versus new Lord of the Rings, and just take a look at just one part from the Rankin Bass Return of the King and declared the Jackson film better. So yeah, I have a very strong feeling that the Jackson movies are definitely going to be better. Well, no, I know that they are going to be better, but I'll still like take a look at the animated films and I'll give my takes on them. See if the Jackson films really are truly as better as people do make them out to be. So yeah, that's how I'm going to be doing it for the Lord of the Rings films. No, I'm not going to be doing that for the Hobbit movies. I'm not going to be like comparing like just one animated film to three films that are each like 3 hours. And yeah, the animated Hobbit, it's only about 75 minutes. So yeah, I'm not gonna be like doing what I'm doing for the Lord of the Rings films with the Hobbit movies because really, I really don't think it really makes sense to compare one 75-minute film to three movies that are each 3 hours long. I really just feel it doesn't really make sense to do that. So yeah, I'll just make that like separately. Like I'll open up the reviews by reviewing the animated Hobbit, and then once I get through Lord of the Rings films, then I'll close it out by reviewing like the Peter Jackson Hobbit trilogy. And I still really do have a feeling that these movies will actually end up being better than the animated Hobbit. But yeah, I'll look at it and give my takes. Like I've heard some people say that. Well, I've heard people say, not some, but yeah, that both the animated Hobbit and the Jackson trilogy, they do like tell this like the entire story of the Hobbit. So yeah, it's probably like yeah, I've heard the Hobbit is like a relatively short book. So yeah, and the Jackson movies really need to stretch it out to make it like three-hour films. So yeah, maybe I will actually like the animated Hobbit better, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, those are my plans this year for the month of May. I'll take a look at I'm gonna be reviewing all the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies. So yeah, stay tuned for those throughout the entire month of May. Alright, so those are my plans for the month of May. So yeah, I hope you guys tune into these. So yeah, those are my plans for the month of May, and yeah, those are my thoughts on the Greatest Royal Rumble. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say about the Greatest Royal Rumble. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.